complex meaning. What does music do for you that makes you you? Really think about that. When you're happy, maybe coming to school, maybe you had a good day, maybe you had your nails done or perfect hair, put that disc in, or put the tape in, play the music, right? When you're working out, get the headphones on, maybe you're meditating, play music, and listen to words. Maybe you're showering, get ready for a date. Think about the music, playing in your room. You put your best clothes on to meet your best girl or the guy you might meet. And listen to the words. These are all things that tie in to who you will eventually in search for your piece of the rock. You guys are each individually different. You're going to contribute to America in your own way. Even though maybe you think, it's just a bunch of birds flying around in circles, trying to find your way. You'll eventually find your niche. And sometimes your niche doesn't happen right away. You take a lot of exploratory routes. Just like, you ideally you'd like to find a bloke you're gonna maybe settle down with, a partner for life type of thing. But sometimes you might have to, I guess, sample the grass, so to speak. And that means doing lots to find out what will work best for you. So with education, like this class, you're building and investing to become this. Each one of you is going to be, this stone right here represents, in some ways, uniqueness. You're under a lot of pressure, a lot of pressures that you maybe place on yourself, or just the everyday demands of the world, and what you should be, or what kind of ideals that you have to maintain or something. But each one of you are individually unique in every way, from the way you dress, the way you present yourself, you're unique. And you got to find comfort in who you are along the route to go out there and put your best foot forward. And remember, we're all built imperfect. So with that, there's always things that you can add. Whether you want to be the best skateboarder, a longboarder in Portland and go down those twisty corners and stay on your feet, whether you want to be a ballerina or a singer or anything, just get out there and do it and to explore. And with education, gives you the building blocks that you gather up knowledge every day. You can never repeat tomorrow. You never know what the future holds. But remember, always go forward, because you can't go back. You can't relive memories. You can only make memories. You gotta live in the present and enjoy it, whether you're going to a movie or just any experience. Enjoy the flowers. Enjoy the fragrance of the day. Every moment. There's something to be learned.
Well, I want us to do some applied anthropology, so I got a question. Why are you wearing that hat? What's that for? What does that mean? What's that symbolize?
Better question is, what's it symbolize to you? That's the better question.
It reminds me of a safari.
All right.
Kind of.
British colonialism.
Ah.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
That could
Yeah.
be too. Both are right. Both. And see, that's a perfect example. Two different people. Good. Well, what do you think this?
I was gonna say safari too.
Yeah. And you?
Safari.
And what? And though now you've got British colonialism. And what does that hat represent? And why did you pick that?
Well, I picked it because I like it.
Okay.
Just like I like this. Just like I picked these trousers because I like it. And why did I pick it? Probably because I think, you know, in some ways, maybe the colonization, anthropology, colonizing the world, that might be another reason why I'm wearing it.
Well, that's what anthropologists do. We colonize the world.
Colonizing the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be it. But to be fair and honest with you, unlike what we have in the White House, I put it on because she asked me come on into the class. I mean, I could have very well presented my material in a Bobby uniform or a total Western outfit. Everything but the horse, you know, with Gilmore. So it just happened to be, that's the way I wanted to represent it. But beyond that, the idea of music dictating what's going on in the world. I mean, there's all types of music out there that are reflective of the times. Like, for instance, during 1969, what were we engaged in?
Long before your time.
Long before your time, I understand that.
It's like the summer of love.
Yeah, you had that going on. You had peace, harmony, and everything. But we also were entrenched in something away from America.
Yeah, Vietnam.
And there were boys that went off, signed up or went off. There were some as young as you who went through boot camp, put the boots on, and went to protect your freedom for your education here today. Her dad was in Vietnam.
That's all up for interpretation. Yeah.
Well, you know, let me tell you something.
You can beg to differ, but we're
Let me tell you
listening.
something. But listen.
Yeah.
But listen. Someone had to be there. And thank God they went. All right? Maybe they didn't want to go either. But someone has to hold the line when called upon. And we owe a debt of gratitude to those folks that lost their lives in the meat grinder.
Here's where the anthropology gets applied. This is where you start asking questions so you can understand the emic point of view. Even if it doesn't sit well with your point of view.
Because we all know what happened.
Blaze got to
go ahead.
What year were you born?
I witnessed things that when boys came back from Vietnam, the horrendous treatment, the baby killers and all that being spit on, spat upon, when they risked their lives instead of welcome back, you know, thank you for serving, they were chastised, baby killers. You've never been there. Well, some of the people were fleeing north and south and, you know, claiming everything under the book that was wrong with them.
Come on, applied anthropology, go ahead.
Were any of your immediate or extended family members in the military?
My dad was a World War II vet. I had the privilege of having a father and a best friend for 91 years. He passed away this year. The utmost respect for the boys that that fought in the wars. He was in the veterans home on Route 1, and I got to meet in person again. I mean, when I say again, meaning I've met these gentlemen before that fought in Vietnam, but on a more intimate level as older gentlemen that fought in wars, being in the veterans home where they're treated very kindly and with dignity. We got to chat about what went on in some of these wars that, believe me, was just horrific and horrifying how they had to endure. And not only the trauma that they experienced on the field, whether in a helicopter or going as a group, as a gang, all brothers and sisters of arms, and then the horrificness of dropping off your best pal they play cards with and have beers with, and putting the body parts of the people in dog tags and loading them up in choppers to bring home in pieces to bury them, or the ones that just they couldn't get in there, and they heard those choppers, that the whooshing of the rotors coming in. They knew they were either going to get supplies or help, and yeah, it's horrific. War should, I mean, it's horrific. And they were able to express themselves, even in their ages. And guess what? These guys said they'd do it all over again. They'd do the same thing. To put them, because it was bigger than one person. You can do anything if you group together. You can maybe make it on your own type of thing. I don't need anybody. But with education, building yourself, and grouping yourself with like interests, there's nothing you can't do. All for one, and one for all.
Applied anthropology here.
So it's obvious that you've kind of solidified your perception of war and veterans and everything alike. But
perfect.
But do you think that your perception has transformed over the years? Meaning, you know, when you were an adolescent in the 70s and early 80s, was your perception of war and the military different from how it is now?
Well, of course, with technology, I mean, technology has done a lot. I mean, back in those times, I mean, yeah, it is a matter of numbers. Yeah, in World War II especially, when they hit Normandy and the things that hit the beachhead, you know, there's machine guns that are going off, and the bullets are just, you know, your fellow comrades are getting mowed down. So few get through type of thing, where you take shelter, whatever. But nowadays, I mean, you press a button and eliminate people with less troops per se, and the technology of it. But at any rate, my perception of war is don't do it. Don't diplomatic talks. And even when you think you can't rationalize with one person, but you got to try that. You got to try peace working first before might override. You know, that doesn't. It equates to babies being killed. And when I say babies, you, me, whoever. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you never win in war. Never. And that perception, make love, not war. Maybe that's what it's all about. You know. I don't know if I answered your question.
Come on, you got a lot. Come on, I know lots of. It doesn't have to be about the war.
It doesn't have to be
Anything.
about the war.
That's what we do. That's what we do as anthropologists. We hang out with people. We talk to them a variety of ways. Questions. We got all kinds.
Like
He just showed you a musical performance. Don't you have questions about that?
See,
Is that you?
what, this bloke right here? This right here? That right there? Yeah, it's me. It's me. You know, I like I said to this gentleman in the front row, what's your name?
Blaze.
Blaze. Like I said, Blaze, I covered Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd in college. It was my way of expressing myself. It was my way that I could share with people, whether the internal turmoil that I had built up in me, that I could relax myself with music. It's like music can bring you so much joy, and when you're at the downest moments, you know, you can throw, you know, whatever, if you like Tool or something, some deep, dark music that might bring you up for some reason, because that's the way you feel. So it's a way of expressing oneself, like the way you wear your hair, the way you wear your sweater or scarf. It's who you are. You're building your own self. You're building your own unique pattern.
Other questions? Comments?
And every one of you guys have something good that you're building upon. You're investing in yourself. You're here. You're making that first step. Go ahead, Mom.
So do you feel like, where you like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, those bands have transcended their time, like teen boppers today are still in love with what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other bands that you equally feel express similar
Absolutely.
views? Or?
You know, you can be that one horse pony type of thing, and come out and do your thing, and you kind of narrowed into that. But no, I like lots of different music. I like Bob Skaggs. I like Atlantic Rhythm Section. I like Foreigner. I like I like a lot of music because it's out there to express itself. It's kind of like, you know, I've got a huge wardrobe of clothes and shoes and hats and stuff. Depends on the day. You know, depends what am I going to put on? You know, what jewelry to put on, what cuffs, whatever.
Do you feel like language can be a barrier, or is language somewhat irrelevant when it comes to music? Because like some of the places you've been to, it's, you know, drums. It's not all about the lyrics.
Well, it's all about passion.
Mm-hmm.
Passion can be in a look. Can be and just the way you stand, the way you present yourself. Whether it's short hair or long hair, you know. It's all the way you present yourself, you know. No whatever. So, I don't think it limits you. I mean, if you're creative, let it out, share it. What I'm saying, sharing is caring. Go ahead.
So you said that you covered Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, and obviously that wasn't any of your own original material,
No,
but it
wasn't.
did help you, express, portray your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I guess that's what I say. What soothes me. It's like eating something that you like, you know, or everyone. I don't know who starts off with a coffee or tea in the morning. Something that gives you comfort.
So the second part to my question was original music. Was that a platform in which you used to, in your words, soothe you or relax you or express your creativity?
Poetry.
Portray your creativity.
Poetry.
Oh, poetry. Okay.
Poetry. I don't know if could you cue it up, but I found my flower. I found my queen in college. I was singing "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You," my Led Zeppelin tribute band, Pink Floyd tribute band named Conrail. Nothing goes down the rails harder than Conrail, the old freight company that CSX bought out. And I was singing "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You," and this very, very beautiful girls in the crowd amongst all the other beautiful people. Very plain, very lovely girl, Maureen, married Bennett, fisherman's daughter, and I don't know, she shone out of all the other people, and subsequently, on September 13th of 1997, I married her, and the way we got married was another thing was we got married like medieval. I don't know if you can find it. you know.
I'm running the camera.
All right.
You want it, you find it.
Well, anyway, as I've told you and as you've witnessed, when I've called Donald Trump, I run one of these razor phones, so I'm not very technological.
Well, you didn't answer the question about poetry.
Well, poetry, I guess that's one way that I express my love for this girl that I ended up marrying, was I had a medieval wedding, and we really wish you could pull it up, but from
Right here. You come here. Here's your
ceremony,
Facebook.
crowning ceremony, it was quite magnificent
You want me to hold the phone?
East Hampton, New
I'll
York,
find
and they thought I was actually doing. They thought because in Long Island, New York, they thought we were doing a movie or something. So, and in that was all my expression of my love was doted on her and expressed through the lyrics.
Uploading.
The lyrics.
Why are we
the
uploading?
vows,
Should not be
which-
uploading
Which
anything.
I
Get the
presented
good
to her.
photos.
Yeah, it wasn't photos. It shouldn't have been. Wait a minute. Something's acting weird.
Who's
Press
that?
it. Press
Who's
the
that
X.
guy?
Press the X.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
How about
See?
photo?
Yeah,
Get
photos.
Mario up there.
What are you talking about? I don't know which album it is.
So you were married
Albums.
in the year 97.
It's gotta be an
97.
album.
Yeah, go on.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Mario's good at computers. I know. My kids are. They're just born into it.
Come on. Here somewhere.
And then there should be a video album.
No, I don't think it's video. It's photos.
1969, did you mean to do like a female?
Somewhere in
What's
here.
that?
Did you mean to do like the?
That's his family. That's his.
for female
His kids were little.
around the 1969.
That's his couple.
Well, it could be represented as a female. That's a good observation. Or maybe just a stick figure. And maybe you could have a mouth like this. And maybe that could be eyes. And that could be a nose, the six. Like, yeah, female, male, whatever.
Look.
But
Come
that's
here.
all.
Come over here and find it. I don't know where it is. Come here and look for it.
Look, we gotta
No.
get Mario.
Well, he doesn't know what to look
Yeah,
for.
he does. He knows exactly.
Oh, he does not.
These kids, they play video games. I know. My boys do. I got a 19-year-old.
Well, while he's looking, what else? Okay, see ya. Come on, ask question. Applied. We're applying that anthropology. If you're sitting in a village, I don't care what village. If it's Westbrook and you're doing something, you've got to know how to ask people questions. And
Was that music video during Woodstock? We labeled it as Woodstock?
Now, the interlude, the interlude love. Is there any way you could put the interlude was from Joni Mitchell, Woodstock? That little interlude portion. I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road. Asked him where he's going, and he told me, I'm going down to Asker's farm, gonna join in a rock and roll band, camp out on the land and get my soul free. We are stardust, we are golden, we are billion-year-old carbon. We all got to get ourselves back to the garden. That's what that.
she didn't even sing at Woodstock, but she wrote the song.
So,
She didn't go. No, this was done, what, 22 years ago, 3 years ago? That was done at a open mic event down in Old Orchard Beach.
So this is part of the crowning ceremony. It was a medieval.
So that's his wedding.
See, I was a commercial fisherman, and I put her engagement ring in an oyster shell for 3 years. Bought an engagement ring, put it in this shell, left it there for 3 years. And when the time was right, I had hair like this. I had a certain look in which I wanted. Got a haircut, everything just the way I had a theatrical seamstress out of Broadway put these garments together. Have a metalsmith make the the crowns and whatnot, and the side shield. And this is the way.
Oh, you gotta have
I married my
questions.
queen.
Oh, you have questions? Come
Of
on.
course, they're stunned.
Soren, you got... Come on, Soren. What is that? I don't know. I thought you raised your hand.
Something to ask a question about.
I don't know.
Why did you choose a medieval wedding?
That's a good question.
You know, that was
I just thought you raised your hand.
that was what was in my heart. You know, I'm not. You know, I feel at times that maybe my soul is still back there. Maybe that deep down in my soul, if you cut me open, maybe that's where my soul is.
In medieval times or in this day?
No, well, I mean, maybe both, a little bit of both, but because it was surely one of those times that meant a lot to me. I mean, after all, I mean, when you meet the flower that you had to be with for the whole of your life, type of thing, and when you make offspring, babies, to continue the evolution of it all, the circle's complete. Camelot. This was based off of Camelot. King Arthur, swords, Guinevere, and stuff. And unfortunately, for me, I was diagnosed with Wilson's disease, which is a rare metabolic disease, which I was born with, unbeknownst to me. And it's for those that don't have smartphones, Wilson's disease is something that you cannot metabolize copper. So copper builds up in the system, and over time it creates biological malfunctions. In which, I mean, when I was back in college, I could memorize everything. You notice when I was singing, I had lyrics in front of me. I could memorize posture, just like I could hear it once, locked in. We're ready to go. Got it. Anything. Music, very good at it, visually and stuff. And my education went that way. I was cum laude graduated with a kinesiology degree from Cortland State. But over time, those mineral deposits built up in such great numbers. Commercial fishing, I did that for 9 years. And I ate a lot of commercial fishing and shellfish. Shellfish is loaded with copper. So imagine this. You cannot metabolize copper. And you're eating copper every day. So the bloody piggy bank is filling up to such saturation points. It damaged my brain, and it created Kaiser-Fleischer ring in the eyes. So they look into the eyes are the window of the soul, and the windows of your health. They found, so it's such a rare thing, they found I have hazel eyes, and they're almost copper brown. The rings were filling in with copper. That means there's saturation up here. So there was damage up in the upper quadrant, so I was shutting down, I was short-circuiting. And my queen, God love her, I mean, she didn't understand that. And it made such difficulty that Camelot happened, where Guinevere, my queen, Mary Trevelyan, had to leave the kingdom. And it was probably the saddest moment in my life when I was going through the proceedings, which we call the separation of two people that love each other very much in court. And I remember in court with my lawyer when the judge says, "Andrew Trevelyan, do you understand what's going on here?" And I stood up. "I do not suffer the slings of arrows of outrageous fortune. There will be a time for such word." And I was reciting Shakespeare and pleading to her. I was out of my mind. But they didn't know what I had. So there is an example of how you have to be ready for life. I mean, you have the ups and downs, because everyone has it. So, believe me, in those dark moments of time, I was reflecting back, and I was doing a lot of Pink Floyd. Maybe I was entrenching myself in the wall, because I felt like I was being isolated. And when so be ready for it, though. Be ready for it, because I still love her. We have 2 beautiful children together. She's still my queen, just we're not together. So, but the point of all that is, you gotta test yourself out. Put your hat on, put your makeup on if you're a girl, and put trousers on, boots on, get back on the horse, and keep going forward. And remember, these are memories. Happy memories. We're all going to have those ups and downs. But remember, we're all unique. We're all like this. Each one of us are unique. That's the message. Whether it's the music you listen to, whether it's the sports you like playing or watching, you're all unique. And to care for one another. You know, we're no different.